Comedy is a beautiful thing because comedy can help take your mind off a lot of things. Comedy is a great escape. However, I've been noticing something about comedy lately that has me a bit saddened. Um, I seem to notice a trend in society that if you don't find somebody funny, you must be XYZ, whatever label they put to you, even though you're not. You must be this XYZ label because you don't find this person funny. Since when did comedy go from something that you looked for to get a laugh from to something where you must feel obligated to laugh at the person's humor, even though you may not find it funny or it may not make you laugh? But yet, we're pushing this idea that people should feel the need to be obligated to laugh at someone's jokes or feel the need to be obligated to say, yeah, you're really funny, even though someone may not be. See, being honest about humor or being honest about a comedian who may not be funny is important, because then comedians that try that style of a comic that may not be good at it, then they'll know that what this person did, so therefore they're not going to make the same mistake. They're going to do a different route. But with comedy, though, there's a reason why I don't like today's comics, today's millennial comics, because there's this almost societal obligation feel to find people funny, which you may not. For example, there's a societal feel that you must find Melissa McCarthy funny, but she doesn't make me laugh. She doesn't make me laugh whatsoever. I don't find Melissa McCarthy funny whatsoever. And Amy Schumer, give or take, depending on, the stuff she does, it can make me laugh or it doesn't. And some cases, she doesn't make me laugh because it's just some things Amy Schumer does which I don't find funny. But yet, if you don't like female comics because they don't make you laugh, you're labeled as sexist, even though I have plenty of female comedians I like. Tina Fey, Amy Poehler being amongst the top ranked on my list. And I find it bewildering that we live in a society where you can't laugh at the things you want to laugh at because society deems it unacceptable, or this or that, blah, 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 blah. Comedy's just frustrating to me now. It really is, because what I find funny, like the Don Rickles the Don Rickles types in comedy, the Kelsey Grammer types in comedy, the Tina Fey types in comedy, the brash, unapologetic, I'm going to make fun of everybody and everyone, I'm going to turn over every sacred cow type of comedian. I like that type of style of comedy because it shows that the person doing all this humor is a person who's doing it from a place of love and not a place of hate. And yet these people that are trying to force you to laugh at their material, even though when you may not find it funny, really frustrates me. Yeah, so anyway, that's my thoughts on the state of comedy, because I feel like I have to feel obligated to laugh at comedians, male or female, today, when there are comedians, male or female, that just aren't funny. And yet they are practically forcing you to laugh at their politically correct humor, when, I'm sorry, political correctness kills comedy, and it doesn't improve on it. It doesn't push the boundaries. If you're a comedian, male or female, and you're afraid to push the boundaries as a comedian, and you're afraid to possibly offend someone because the joke you might say about culture or whatever, or society, and you're afraid to offend, you're not a comedian. Comedians are not afraid to offend. I'll say that again. Comedians are not afraid to offend. See, have you ever seen a comedian who was like the Mr. Rogers type? No. Hi there. No comedian is, hi kids today. Did you hear about the bunny that got stuck in the door? Nobody finds that stuff funny. And yet, that's where comedy is heading towards. Society, mainly my generation, can't take a joke. They can't take cultural criticism by a comedian like Jerry Seinfeld. Yes, for millennials, Jerry Seinfeld is too intense. The most vanilla comic of his generation, and he's too intense for millennials. That's crazy. And I don't like the fact that I have to feel obligated to laugh at people I don't find funny. I don't find Melissa McCarthy funny. I'm not going to watch her stuff. I seen The Heat. Sandra Bullock was okay in it, but Melissa McCarthy was trying to be funny by using an obscure amount of profanities, dropping F-bombs all over the place. And F-bombs could be funny, but when you're just screaming the F-bomb at everybody and trying to be funny about it, I take that as aggression. I don't take that as comedy. Because if you're not going to do it in a funny way, I'm not going to laugh at it. And The Heat I found very boring. You know, Bridesmaids was okay. It made me chuckle here and there. You know, it made me chuckle in a couple of scenes. But once again, you know, that I found funny a little bit, and I laughed at some of the scenes in the movie. But yet, comedy films today, you have to almost feel obligated to laugh at somebody and not say your honest opinion on what you think of their comedy. Like I don't, like, for example, I don't find Trevor Noah funny. Trevor Noah took over The Daily Show for from Jon Stewart since he stepped down in 2015. But there's something about Trevor Noah's comedy style that doesn't tickle my funny spot. And he's a great human being. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. He's a phenomenal human being. He would be a great public speaker for a lot of causes against racism in America and all that. No doubts about it. He's a phenomenal human being. He's just not funny to me. Tyler Perry, on the other hand, I find hilarious. There's just something about Tyler Perry that makes me laugh. When he plays Medea, I'm doubled over in laughter. When his show, Tyler Perry's Meet the Browns. I love that show. I watch the reruns, but I still love that show because it's funny to me. But that's my point with comedy. Comedy's subjective for a reason. And when society is going in the direction you have to feel obligated to laugh at someone's humor, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. I can't feel obligated to laugh at someone I don't find funny. This is why I like Don Rickles. This is why I like Dana Carvey. This is why I like Tina Fey. This is why I like Howard Stern, Dennis Miller. These are people that push the boundaries. They push the limit. And that's what do I find every one of their jokes funny? No. Of course, you could love funny comedians like these people I love, but although not every joke of theirs is funny. Joan Rivers, great example. Love Joan Rivers. She pushed the boundaries. She pushed the limit. That's what's funny to me. But in in this politically correct mindset where, oh, we're not going to make jokes about this and that, we're not going to point out a flaw within this culture or that culture because we're too afraid of offending people, you're not a comedian. I'll say this again. Comedians are not afraid to push the boundaries. And because of Don Rickles, you know, he was one of the predominant white comedians of the 1960s who made white supremacists look like clowns. He made them look stupid, and rightfully so. Racism is a joke. When you're being racist towards someone because their skin color is different or their ethnicity is different, and you had someone like Don Rickles call you a hockey puck for being a racist and taking the stuff the racist stuff you believe, and he flips it around, turns it on you, and you laugh at yourself, you know you're the joke. That's what I love about comedy, is that comedy can take horrible stuff like racism and show the bigots that they're a joke. But yet, when people are too afraid to push the boundaries, that's when comedy kind of suffers. Because comedy has always been about joking about suffering. That's what comedy has always been about. Comedy is about laughing at suffering, laughing at painful truths in the world. When I say painful truths about racism, sexism, and all that. These are painful realities that we live in our everyday society. And when comedians aren't afraid to express that, when they're not afraid to talk about the truths, that's beautiful. Because people can laugh at the horrible things in society because, for example, who takes the KKK seriously? Nobody. Why? They're such a small group. They're so bigoted. They're a joke. They're a joke. Should they be taken lightly? No. But they're a joke. You can laugh at the KKK because they're a joke. But that's the point, though. When people are afraid to push the boundaries, when people do, oh, I haven't eaten for like 12 hours, you know that's a joke. You could laugh at that. That's not joking about the last how many hours you ate. That's not funny. But yet, the politically correct millennials, this is the old knee slapper. It's not. It's not. Look, when I went to see the movie Trainwreck, the only parts I found funny were the parts where Amy Schumer pays an homage to Woody Allen and John Cena in the movie theater, which was completely ad-libbed. He was not given a script for that scene. He completely ad-libbed that. And I was doubled over laughing because John Cena's downright fucking hilarious. And Amy Schumer didn't expect half the stuff out of his mouth. But that's the point. John Cena took dialogue that was otherwise something that he was like, who would laugh at that? And then he changed it into something where everyone's like, John Cena was the best part of the movie. And he was. Anyway, my point being is that comedy you should not feel obligated to laugh at. If you don't find somebody funny, be honest about it. This person doesn't make me laugh. But we're moving in a direction where people should feel obligated to laugh at someone that they may not find funny because it's going to hurt the comedian's feelings, which drives me crazy. I might be speaking from an old comedian's perspective here, but if you can't handle criticism, if you can't please everybody in comedy. Comedy's subjective for a reason. If you know your audience, great. Work with your audience. Work for your audience. And When you find your audience, maintain your audience, but don't expect to bring everybody into your audience circle, because you can't do that. Jerry Seinfeld damn well knows this. Woody Allen damn well knows this. Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Kristen Wiig, who I find funny as well. These people know that they have an audience and they please their audience in whatever they do, but they don't do stuff where they're trying to force you to like their stuff. Like Fred Armisten's, for example. Fred Armisen from Saturday Night Live, he did a Netflix special called For Drummers Only, a comedy special. And it's a audience full of drummers, and he's doing all these drum-related jokes. And I'm a musician. I mean, I play the drums, but I was in band since 6th grade. And I've been in classic band. I've been in marching band. I've been around drummers, and I was watching his special. I was not laughing. He was making shitty music jokes. He was making shitty drummer jokes. Half the drummers I was with in marching band can make better jokes than he can. And I seen a show, Portlandia. Some episodes have me double over in laughter. Some are like, ew, why would, ew. But that's my point. Is that I find men and women funny that I find funny. I don't find every single comedian funny. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.